Hi, this is Amma from SSL Australia, and in this video I am going to be showing you how you can successfully install an SSL certificate on your website through the IIS.10 Web Service Manager. So let's get started. So this is the website we're looking to secure, and as you can see, our connection to this site is not yet secure, and we're going to make sure it is. So the first thing is that we're going to connect to our web server and open the Internet Information Services Manager. Head over to the server's homepage, go to IIS. Under IIS you'll find an option called Server Certificates. We're going to click on that, and we are going to create a certificate sign request. You'll find a button on the top right. Click on that, and we're going to fill in these details out real quick. So basically, a CSR or a customer sign-in request is nothing but a request initiated by you, the client, to the certificate authority, which contains all necessary information such as the domain name and business details, which are stored in a hashed form. On the technical side, it also contains the public key, which will be signed by the certificate authority and returned to you in the issued certificate. So, under common name, type in your domain name real quick, your organization, the organizational units such as IT, your city, your state, and the two-letter abbreviation for your country, or you can select it from the drop-down menu here and click on Next. We are going to be choosing the Microsoft RSA cryptographic provider for this video, and we're going to set the bit length to 2048. Click on Next, and let's save it on desktop. Let's call it server.csr, and we're going to click on Finish. So open that document, text file, and you've successfully generated your certificate request. So once we've generated our certificate sign request, or our CSR, we can now move on to purchase and configure our SSL certificate. So I'm here at SSL Trust, the SSL Trust homepage, and now I am going to purchase and configure our SSL certificate. So click on the SSL certificate or the type of SSL certificate you like. Choose your brand. There are lots of certificate authorities available, and we are gonna go with the cheapest one for this video. Click on Buy, scroll down, choose the duration of your certificate, and click on Buy SSL. Once you do that, you can click on the checkout button here, fill in all your billing details, and you can choose your preferred method of payment and purchase your certificate. Once you click on Complete Order, you can come back to the dashboard, select your SSL certificate that you've purchased, and you can click on the Start Certificate Configuration button here, or send this link to the appropriate person to complete the configuration for you. So we can click on this button here, and we will now, the first thing we'll do is paste in our certificate sign request. So go back to your server, copy your certificate sign request from the very start to the very end, including all the dashes, and we are going to paste it here. Once you're done with that, click on the Verify CSR button here, and if your details pop up just right, then we're good to go. Otherwise, you will need to regenerate your certificate sign request. Select your web server type, click on Next Step. Fill in your details. Your email address. And if you're the admin, and you have a technical contact who can do this for you, be sure to use the admin details and click on next. So now comes the important part, or domain control validation. So basically you need to prove to the certificate authority issuing your certificate that you have complete access to your domain name and you are the sole owner of it. So there are various methods to validate your domain name. The first is the email method. So you can choose one of these 5 email addresses and you'll be sent an email from the certificate authority containing a link by which when you click on it, your validation method should be complete and your certificate should be issued. The second method is the HTTP file method. So you will need to create this directory or with this file name in the text file and copy and paste these contents into that and wait for it to propagate on your server and be available for HTTP access. And the third and the easiest method for us is we are going to be using the CNAME record method. You just need to access your DNS settings with either your domain or hosting provider and create a new record and wait for it to propagate via the DNS. So copy the CNAME record value, head over to your DNS settings with your selected provider and add a record set. This is going to be a CNAME record and paste in the name here, and the alias is going to be this value, so copy it and paste it here. Click on OK. Once you're done with that, you can check your DNS record by clicking this button here. Click on search and wait for your DNS record to propagate. This should take a few minutes tops or up to an hour depending on your DNS propagation speed. So we're going to click on submit configuration for now. And our configuration was a success. This is our order number and our status is that we are awaiting validation. So you can click here to access the validation manager. And our domain control validation was complete. You can come back if your DNS record has not propagated yet and you want to check if it has. You can come back here, click on this button here and select your method of domain control validation and click on submit to make sure that the record on the certificate provider sites is updated and you are quickly issued with your certificate. Otherwise, you can head over to the SSL Trust dashboard, if you're lost that is, and choose your certificate, and there'll be a button here called Access Validation Manager. You can click on that and access your validation manager here. Otherwise, we're good to go. So now that we're done with this, let's close this up, head over to the SSL Trust dashboard, and let's download our certificate. So click on the collect download certificate button here, and we are going to download it with a the single .pem file containing all the certificates. This will be the format that is most appropriate for IIS. So we're going to download our certificate and save it on our desktop. Let's call it SSL Guide Certificate and save. So now we are going to copy our certificate, or you can access the link via your server and download it from there. Otherwise, we can come back here, let's close up our CSR and go to IIS, and we can click on the complete certificate request button here. Before that, we need to upload our certificate to our server. So let's go to the directory your files are hosted in, the website files. and paste it here on the desktop, any appropriate location that is suitable for you. And once it is pasted, we are going to move on to installing our certificate. So open IIS again and click on the complete certificate request button on the top right. You're going to click on that and choose the file name containing the certificate authority's response. So I know it is in Windows, your website's name, and if it's not in .0 extension, you can click on this button here, select your certificate, click on open, friendly name, let's call it SSL Guides, and we are using it for web hosting, and click on OK. So once your certificate is incorporated, you can now enable it by going to your website, going to SSL settings under IIS. But as you can see that we do need to have an HTTPS binding to accept SSL connections before we can change the setting. So what we're going to do now is go to Exchange, go to Sites, and we are going to add an HTTPS binding. You'll find the option on the top right called Bindings. Click on that, and we are going to add a binding, an HTTPS binding, and the host name is going to be your domain name .com whatever, and select your SSL certificate. I named it as SSL Guides, and click on OK. Once you're done with that, we can now access the SSL settings under IIS, and you can require SSL and ignore client certificates for now. Let's apply the setting and we're good to go. So let's access our website now, https://yourdomainname.com. And as you can see, our connection to the site is now secure. We've successfully installed an SSL certificate on IIS web server on our website. So one more thing that I would like to show you is that you can disable older versions of TLS on your web server to make sure that you get the best rating on your SSL Labs test and that all best practices are being followed. To do that, I'm going to show you how you can do that real quick. So first of all, you will need to open a directory called or the low-level command interface called registry editor or regedit in short. We're going to open that, and you can now hit here or find the commands in the written description or the written script that you can run as a .reg file to make sure that all these low-level commands are changed. So for now, you can follow this with me. Click on your local machine, go to System, and now we are going to go to Current Control Set 001. Go to Control, then you go to Security Providers, scroll down, go to Security Providers, S channel, select the protocols, and let's widen this a bit, and we can add in the commands for older versions of TLS such as SSL 2.0 and TLS 1.1 and 1.0. To do so, we're going to right click on this. Let's create a new key, TLS 1.0, and TLS 1.1. If you click on SSL 3.0, you will see that we have to create it for both client and server. So again, create new key, client, new key again, server. The same for TLS 1.1. client and server. So go to the client folder now, click on new, the dword 32-bit value, and type it exactly as I'm typing it now, disabled by default. Make sure the respective letters are in capital. Right click, modify, and change it to 1. Do it for the same on the server side. New, dword value, disabled by default, modify, 1. Save. The same for the TLS 1.1 protocol, disabled by default, new, dword value. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's delete this. We're going to modify this to 1. This will disable the older versions of SSL protocols such as TLS 1.1 and 1.0 on both the client and server side, so you can maintain the best chain or the best practices for encryption on your website. Change it to 1 and click on OK. So once you're done with that, you can restart your IIS web server. So head over to your web server again and click on restart. But it is best to restart your web server restarted and wait for these changes to be incorporated. So once you're done with that, you can head over to a website called SSL and test your server's SSL configuration. How well does your SSL certificates do? Type in your domain here with an https://yourdomainname.com, or you can copy and paste it and click on submit. Okay, so we're done with our SSL Labs test and we've got an overall rating of A thanks to our efforts to disable older versions of protocols such as TLS 1.0 and 1.1, which you can see here. These are disabled and the cipher suites look good. Everything is good to go. Basically, if you've got an overall rating of better A or better than A, then you're pretty much good to go. The SSL certificate is working perfectly on your site, so you can expect to stay as safe as possible. So I hope that you were easily able to install an SSL certificate on your website via the IIS.10 web server. If you've got any problems or doubts, you can type them in the comments below. Also, I forgot to mention that there is a written guide attached in the description of this video, and that's it. So if you were easily able to install an SSL certificate on your website, please like this video. Questions, put them in the comments below. And thanks for watching, and until next time then.